Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the latest with GTA 6 and more big-time game creators come out in defense of physical games. It's going to be a good one because we have Rachel Kaser on the show. Rachel, how are you doing?
Hi, Jeff. I have COVID.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, no.
I tested positive for COVID last week. So
how's it? You sound all right. Are you recovering?
yeah, I'm on the mend. For the most
Good.
part, it's just down to a little itty bitty cough that right here that won't leave me alone. But
Right.
I was telling Jan this last week. It was getting so bad that even Dean Takahashi was telling me to stop working and go take a rest.
Okay. Then you know it's bad. Like when he
Yeah.
begins like empathizing, he's like, oh no. All right.
I
Yeah.
thought it was just like a summer cold. Like I just had a cough, and then I was having really bad headaches, and then the coughing was getting worse, and everyone's like, "Hey, can you take a COVID test?" And I was like, "I haven't taken a COVID test in like 3 years." So
There's been COVID here in 50 years. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, but unfortunately, I think I got it at the gym. Like not not a flex, literal or figurative, but everyone is, according to my friend at the gym, everyone is coming back from summer trips, summer vacations, and they're bringing all the germs with them.
That makes sense. Yeah, everyone wants to get back into the gym after gorging on vacation, and then they're attacking you with that. So yeah, the COVID could still catch the Kaser beam. That's the bad news. That's unfortunate.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just give me a week of bed rest, and I've got it. I'm back on.
Okay. Yeah. You keep getting better. Glad to hear that you're already on the mend, though. That is fantastic. Let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. Go to giantbomb.com/join and become a premium member. If you do, you're going to be supporting independent games media, enabling us to do cool, weird stuff like going on a road trip to the Trees of Mystery in Northern California, which we did on a recent trip. It was a lot of fun. We got to go out to the Mysterium Game Convention for Myst, which is just something we wouldn't be able to do if we weren't like controlling this ourselves with your help. So thank you to everybody who does support us, everybody who supported us back during the Bombathon to make that possible. Dan is working on the video log, is what I call it. It's called a vlog. He's working on the vlog right now for that, which is going to have a lot of amazing moments. So yeah, thank you again, everybody who does support us. If you want to get in on that action, please go to giantbomb.com/join. It gets you ad-free versions of our shows, gets you access to premium exclusive content. That includes the upcoming Kat Jerfman premium-only Blight Club starring Jerf. He's going to be playing through that on GameCube. We have a handful of episodes recorded. We're going to get a few more recorded and then begin handing that out to premium users. We also have This Is the Run Sewer Shark, which continues on. Definitely check that out as well. Then we have a bunch of cool stuff in the works as well.
When are you road tripping to see me?
I know, right?
QuakeCon is happening soon. I live right next door.
I definitely want to do another road trip. I want to do another one. I have more ideas for how to make it work, how to get the internet better. Like we wanted to stream more from the road, and we did. We had some great streams from the road, but it was really unreliable there on the West Coast with the Verizon thing I was using. So it's like I got some other ideas, and then want to hit some other cities, different parts of the country. So yeah, we'll go to Texas. What the hell? As far as this show goes, most weekdays, Jeff Grubb, will help get your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Grand Theft Auto 6 marketing may finally ramp back up in August. This is from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. According to a reputable insider, new information about Rockstar's GTA 6 could arrive very soon. Nate the Hate, who has accurately reported unannounced details about upcoming games before, recently said he expects to see a fair bit of GTA 6 in August. He went on to push back against the narrative that just because Rockstar has not marketed GTA 6 much so far, with just a few months to go before launch, that there is some cause for concern. They have a marketing plan and they are sticking to that. No reason for concern, he said, adding that the game is not delayed and will launch on time on November 19th. Let's pause there real quick, Rachel. We're not like, is anyone still thinking this game might not come out? I guess there is always that possibility that there could be a delay. I've moved past that. I think after they started really going hard on the pre-orders, the idea that they haven't shown us much more is not really registering with me on that front of like, oh, that means there could be a delay. To me, it's always they're just showing us what they think they have to. They don't have to show us anything else, and people are still going to buy this game in absolute droves, right?
Yeah, they've already bought the game in absolute droves.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of think maybe Take-Two is like investing, like, I know nothing is coming to mind at the moment, but I'm sure Take-Two has other um, IP that are going out in the meantime that I'm sure they want to invest in before GTA 6 comes along and blitzes the entire market the way
Right.
everyone
They
is
have to keep that in
expecting it
mind
to.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So they want to make money. They want to make money for their quarters before GTA 6 launches. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're investing what scraps they can in their other IP before GTA, because they know they don't have to have a long tail on the GTA 6 marketing. They can
Yep.
just drop a trailer in the middle of August and everyone will eat it up.
Is
I'll
that
eat it
your
up. I'm not being hypocritical. I'll eat it up.
Yeah? Is that your expectation? We're going to get a trailer in August because that's what this seems to imply to me. And
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and I don't
yeah,
have like insider sources like Nate the Hate does, I think.
yeah.
But that's what I've heard, is that when they say summer, they mean August.
Yeah. I heard way back in like March and April, like, oh, things would start in July, and then the pre-order started in very, very late June, and then there's been nothing else in July. So I'm like, okay, did that just mean the pre-order thing? Or are we going to get like a big like TV marketing campaign? And to be fair, like they've explicitly said, like they're going to spend less money on marketing on traditional over-the-air television and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
this is probably going to manifest in a slightly different way. I don't think that means we don't get a trailer, although they don't need one. Like I feel like they don't need one. They don't need to let people review this game. They don't need to do anything. I still think they will. I think they'll probably let people review
Yeah.
this thing. They will have another trailer.
Yeah, I think they will definitely have a I think they are probably maybe going to invest a little bit more in creators, like creator-led marketing before this comes out. That's not based in any like knowledge I have. That's just a
Sure.
supposition. But I think Take-Two knows enough about the market and knows enough about what side their bread's buttered on, that they're going to like, okay, let's go after the big shots in the GTA community to to get a little bit of like boots on the ground, or not boots on the ground, grassroots publicity.
Take-Two has kind of intimated previously that the marketing campaign would begin in summer. Pre-orders have been open since June 25th. It doesn't seem like it's been slow at all. It seems like people have been pre-ordering this game in quite a huge amount. The game is $80. So far, nothing to me indicates that there's any reason to expect this game won't be as big as everyone is expecting. Like it seems like everything is just kind of lining up that way. Now, we haven't seen anyone play this video game. We have not seen that yet. Do you think the next trailer
Not
is?
not legally. Not
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. Yes, we've seen some leaks and stuff. Seen some like hacks actually.
Mhm.
But like when that first trailer does come out, and the next trailer, when that next trailer does come out, will it be like a full-on gameplay trailer, or do they just continue kind of doing what they've been doing and like setting up the world?
I think in this case, I think that they'll follow the playbook that they had for GTA 5. I don't know when the GTA 5 gameplay trailer came out. I know they had one before the game launched in the early marketing stage. I know they put out a gameplay trailer, but I don't remember if it was before or after they released a bunch of cinematic trailers.
Yeah, probably. And then and it's been God, how long since that game? What did they do? What did they do for
I
Red
played
Dead
it. I
Redemption
first
2?
played it. I first played it on the Xbox 360. That's how long it's been.
Yes. God, that's crazy.
Oh
Um,
my god. I
it
I
was
think they I think for Red Dead Redemption 2, they released a gameplay trailer. I want to say after they released like at least 3 cinematic
Yeah, I
trailers.
think it was pretty late, and it was like
Yeah.
in the quarter
They
before the game came
sprinkle
out.
they sprinkle like bits of gameplay in the cinematic trailers, but not enough for it to be a gameplay trailer.
Yeah, I think they will have some gameplay, but I think it'll be limited. I think it'll be sort of yes, interspersed between more world setting stuff and like the cutscenes, which I think they believe shows off best in advertisements, and
Mhm.
then and again, like, what do they get out of letting people see more of this game? Because it's not like the people who are going to show up to buy this game on day one, they don't need to see anything. They were going to buy it sight unseen. And then if there are people waiting on the sideline, well, they were probably not going to get it day one. But once the game's out there and the hype is inescapable, then that could sort of carry it through. I bet that's what they're mostly thinking here. Although, who knows? That next trailer could come out and be like 7 minutes of nothing but gameplay. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know.
I mean, it's. I'm trying to get in the head of the marketing people here. Like, what would, like, what do they need to do? Like, what is the cadence that they need to do? And I think right now, because everyone is so just chomping at the bit for GTA, for more news on GTA 6. And by the way, regarding the delay, I still occasionally see like these schmucks on TikTok saying something like, "Hey, GTA 6 has been delayed." Purely either because they're rage baiting and, courting views from, just people being like, what? GTA 6 is delayed? Or because they are so pessimistic that they believe there's no shot that Take-Two will release or that Rockstar will release the game in 2026.
That's fun. You always got to appreciate the people out there just running that hustle to ruin everyone else and just to say things that are absolutely not true. Will points out, they always do the narrated trailer explaining systems, and I'm remembering that now for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes.
So it's okay. I can very easily see that. Like, here's the new stuff. Maybe that comes out closer to launch or whatever. But yes, I guess I would expect that now when I kind of remember that's the way they've done it. And I'm curious to see what the new systems are going to be. I'm curious to see like how they try to differentiate this game. Because right now it feels like bigger. It's bigger and more. And yeah, I mean, I think this is still the one game and one developer that when they say bigger and more, that is a back of the box bullet point still. I think other ones, it's like, yeah, I mean, are you guys just going to fill this with more of the same crap? And maybe that's what's going to happen here as well. But I still think
you heard that from Ubisoft, you'd be like, ugh.
Right.
But if you hear it from Rockstar and you're like, oh, that sounds great.
I just want to like see what that means for Rockstar, because we know that they are going to not hold back on spending the required money to really fill that out. So yeah, hey, August. All right, we'll find out more about this game. I'm like halfway between getting excited and still being annoyed about like, man, this game takes up so much of the oxygen in the room. But at this point, we're close enough. November's not like some far off land. It's now something I can imagine in my head. All right, let's play this game, see what it's all about, and I'm going to start getting pretty excited about it.
I'm excited because it feels like there's a lot of nostalgia there for me personally. So
sure. Yeah.
Like I said, I played GTA 5 back on the Xbox 360, and I remember I wasn't really allowed to play GTA until like 4, and then I played that on, I think, one of my cousins on one of their systems. So GTA 5 was kind of like my first big girl Grand Theft Auto. So
yeah, I've definitely
GTA 6. Yeah, there is some history there.
The nostalgia is definitely for me like it's a whole other part of my life. And I've told the story before about like going to a friend's house and like basically like just living at this friend's house. And they had Grand Theft Auto 3, and we'd always have people over every night. It's Ohio. There's like just a constant house party happening. And just passing the controller back and forth and playing Grand Theft Auto 3 for weeks at a time. And it's like, yeah, that to me, I think that was a lot of how a lot of people experienced that game. And that's how I still want to experience these games. I want to kind of sit down and have fun. And that's what's great about streaming now. You can kind of have that same feeling. All right, so let's keep going here. Final Fantasy VII Revelation director says he's working on arranging some kind of physical edition, but can't confirm the details. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. The director of Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the third entry in the Final Fantasy VII remake, says talks are in progress for a physical release of the game. He just can't provide details on what that would entail yet. While Sony has confirmed that it will stop making discs for new PlayStation games as of January 28th, Rockstar's decision to release Grand Theft Auto 6 as a code in a box has led to some wondering whether other major publishers will follow suit. Speaking at the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival in Berlin, Final Fantasy VII Revelation director Naoki Hamaguchi told Games Radar he was working on securing a physical release of the game, but couldn't confirm exactly what that would entail. We're still having internal discussions on what the exact SKU product lineup is going to be for Revelation, so I can't say anything particularly definitive at this point in time. but I am working to make the arrangements to allow us to have some kind of physical edition. Hamaguchi explained that every company has its own terms regarding physical releases, and this is currently what's being discussed with platform holders. Obviously, say if you're talking to Nintendo, there's considerations about the storage limits on and on key cards and things like that, and then other platforms about how much you can put onto a disc. Each platform and first party have their own specific rules and regulations that we need to take into account. He does go on later in the interview to say it would be a shame if physical releases stopped, even though consumer trends suggest it may be heading in that direction at some point. I do feel as a developer and as a fan that the general trend is for things to shift away from physical towards downloadable games. But that's obviously talking about the trend. Personally, here at something like FanFest or community events for games that I've worked on, I really think that people bringing up things, asking for autographs, I think that's lovely. I think it's a wonderful culture, and it would be a shame to lose that. I want that to remain. Basically, he still wants to be able to sign the discs. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we should have been expecting a physical edition of Final Fantasy VII Revelation.
Well, yeah, because it's coming out. It's coming out in 2027, and they're not stopping releasing physical discs until 2028.
January 2028 was it? Yes,
January 2028. That's what they said. So yeah, I mean that's not a surprise, I guess, but
you would hope so, right? But I mean the fact that we're clarifying, I guess, is a reminder of just where we're at with this still. Where it's like people. I think people are expecting more of these companies to not just to be like, well, PlayStation's stopping discs, but to be like, Rockstar's not putting Grand Theft Auto 6 out on a disc. Who's the next company that is going to follow suit? And, you know, I think there's still this wait and see for the people in the industry that maybe want things to go that way faster of like, we kind of have to wait and see what this means for Grand Theft Auto 6. It's probably not going to mean much. But I think if you're not Take-Two and you're not Rockstar, you're probably right to not even be considering this yet. And then there is this contingency of like people inside of these studios, like Hamaguchi, who are like, no, I really like this still, and I'm making the efforts personally to make sure that we can have the best physical versions, or at least respectable physical versions of these games out on all platforms. But I think he does bring up an interesting point of like some of the headaches involved with trying to get a game like this out on physical media. Of like, yeah, it's not just all right, we're done with the game, print it onto disc, and everyone can go home. It's like, okay, how much space do we have on the PlayStation version? All right, that's pretty good. The Xbox version is going to have a little bit less space, that disc. Can we actually fit the whole game on there? So what are we actually going to include? What are we going to make downloadable? And then on the Switch, if we do try to include some stuff on the physical card, you're still going to have to download stuff, and then that's going to cost us a ton of money to put it on this 64 gigabyte card that is way more expensive than the disc. So then do we put it on the game key card? People are going to still hate that and not want to buy that. But, we kind of have explained before that it helps with our technology, actually. So we want you to install the game anyhow. There's all of these headaches and hoops to walk through and sort of challenges to overcome. And you can see, you begin to see why these companies are like, let's get past this shit. We hate these discs. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. You kind of feel like every business, every industry has stuff that causes headaches. Just deal with it, because this is kind of still something that we need.
Yeah, I think the way companies are kind of rationalizing it is that I think they're of the mindset that, the people, even no matter how vocal gamers are about liking physical media, if they don't actually buy physical media, then talk is cheap. So I can understand that from a business perspective, but I also understand it from the consumer perspective of, well, if it's digital, then I have no like ownership over this item. I don't have any there. It can be taken away from me at any time, which is another like pain point for the consumer that we've talked about before. And yeah, I can see where there's a disconnect there, but what I think is probably going to happen is that even if PlayStation doesn't put out a PlayStation that supports physical media, somebody will, if not Sony, then somebody will make a USB attachment, a USB disk drive attachment, and they'll start putting out like special edition discs that cost like $700 or something, and come with a bunch of come with a statuette or something like in the good old days.
Yeah, I think I hope we can get to that point. That would be nice, because I mean that stuff would still have to work with Sony's authentication and DRM stuff. But it's like, okay, yeah, then Sony just give work with limited run games and all these other companies that print stuff to like let them go out there and find a partner that can produce the discs that can then be authenticated, and just like make sure that they still have a pathway to do that. Because the DRM is going to be the problem with that side of things. And if Sony just says no, or says this isn't worth our time, it won't happen at all. Which was like, it's like, I think is the position that most people assume Sony is taking right now, because when they brought up getting rid of discs, there was no mention of, and here's how your discs are going to work in the future that you already own. It's like, that is still a big question mark. And I think the fact that it's a big question mark, most people assume the worst case scenario. And I think that's fair. So
yeah, that's completely fair. I totally understand that. That's why I was kind of thinking. And by the way, when I say a third party, I'm not suggesting somebody is going to do it like illegally or something like that.
Right,
What I mean is that I think Sony would probably be especially okay with it if another company underwrote the costs.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that would have to be the case. So, but whether or not they're going to let people use that DRM, that'll be the big question. So we'll have to wait and see. All right. Splatoon Raiders launches huge in Japan. Splatoon Raiders opened with an estimated 474,684 copies sold, and that's just physical in Japan alone in its first week that ended July 26th. It was by far the week's biggest release. We've kind of had this story a bunch of times now with these smaller Nintendo games, where it's like, hey, what are the big Nintendo games? Well, it turns out they were the friends we made along the way in Rhythm Heaven Groove and Tomodachi Life and this. So Splatoon Raiders at nearly 500,000 copies sold in a week. Puts it right behind Rhythm Heaven Groove, which sold another around 80,000 copies in a week. That's up to 675,000 copies total. Again, this is all just physical and just Japan. And Tomodachi Life is now at 1.5 million lifetime, just physical and in Japan only. So yeah, very well done over there. Splatoon Raiders, obviously we know Splatoon, hugely popular in Japan. Worldwide it is. It has this grand appeal, and we also saw like on Metacritic. I think I talked about it on the show yesterday, Rachel. You see this where it's in the top 10 for the highest rated user score ever on Metacritic. The fans are showing up. Yeah,
it's a good premise. When I see those numbers, all I'm like is, yay! I'm happy for them, because that's a fun game to be a good seller. I feel like the market is proving that it has good taste there.
Yep, absolutely. It is notable. It's like it feels like every time one of these $50 Nintendo games launch in the last several months, especially this summer, they are finding an audience in Japan, and that audience is buying around 500,000 physical copies in that first week. And then you compare that to like that Matt Piscatella little factoid about the United States, where it's like there's only like 7 games that have sold more than 100,000 copies. I might be wrong about those specific numbers, everybody, but it's something along those lines this year. And it's like, oh man, okay, yeah. Is that just like Japan just into physical games more, or are they just getting hit like more square in the target by the games that are launching on Switch 2 in this moment? It does feel like it's a little bit of that.
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly.
Yeah, I think that when I look at this, it's like, I don't think Nintendo's going to get rid of physical anytime soon. I think that they are happy to continue serving that audience, and they really, the fact that they did not give into like going all crazy with free to play stuff when that was like first becoming a thing, and loot boxes and all this other stuff, and it's like obviously Nintendo's not going to do that. And I don't think it was always obvious, but the fact that they have usually avoided these trends and kept just doing stuff the Nintendo way, just kind of say to me they will keep doing that into the future, because I think they just like whatever the rest of the noise that is happening in the industry is kind of has nothing to do with us. We're going to just keep releasing games our way, and we have an audience, and that audience keeps showing up. And it feels like, if anything, that audience keeps growing, and now they're hitting like probably like multiple generations of people who are into Splatoon in Japan, and then like globally we show up for these games as well, right?
Yeah, I think we do. I think Nintendo still like primarily targets a Japanese audience, and everyone else just kind of falls in line.
And I think that seems to be pretty smart. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, I mean they're not courting us, like as in you and me, the Joe Q American gamer.
Yeah.
They're not courting us. They know that, we grew up with their products. We're going to buy them, regardless. So yeah, I think, I don't think they are going to have a problem with, like, the sales of physical media dropping off, because they know what their audience wants, and clearly this is a strategy that's paying off for them. So
All right.
one
Yeah, we did just get some breaking news about NVIDIA GPU prices. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we'll hit that and the rest of the headlines. A bunch of fun stuff happening in this industry constantly. If you want to skip out on these ad messages, you can do so. We put up ad-free versions of the show for premium users, so go to giantbomb.com/join, and you can get them there. We will be right back.
Okay, let me pull up the news.
All right, we are back. It's Game Mess Mornings. I'm Jeff Grubb. That's Rachel Kaser Beam Kaser. We are going to keep going here with the headlines. As I mentioned before the break, the hardware price crisis seems to continue to spread and grow. NVIDIA is reportedly imposing another major price increase on the GPU and memory packages it sells to graphics cards manufacturers. So it's like, they make the chips and they send this off to, I was going to say EVGA, but I think they specifically stopped making GPUs because they saw this coming. Taiwan's Economic Daily News puts the increase at 20 to 30%, potentially making this NVIDIA's third significant pricing adjustment of 2026. NVIDIA has not announced that every GeForce card's retail price will immediately rise by 30%. So the reported increase applies to the bundled GPU kits purchased by board partners such as Asus, MSI, and Gigabyte. So the expectation here should be that, like, those companies, therefore, will have to raise the prices on their own, separate from what NVIDIA is selling to them. Worth pointing out that NVIDIA is not the only one raising the price of chips in this moment. Qualcomm confirms double-digit increases beginning September 1st for its mobile chips. So across the board, in every aspect, RAM and storage are raising costs, and especially RAM when it comes to this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we were already paying a lot. I think we saw several price increases already for GPUs, for computer components, for consoles, for everything, for handhelds. And I think we're not even through those price increases yet.
No.
Right. August 1st is when the price increase happens for Xbox, I think, and even Switch.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's August when the Switch 2 pricing.
I think it's August, right? So those haven't even happened yet, and we're already getting signs that further price increases are coming. And so I think I feel
like August is when we're also going to get news about the Zelda remake after the price goes up.
I think you might be onto something there, where it's they are holding some of that stuff back to change the conversation back to the games you can't miss out on. And Ocarina of Time, obviously, they think that is one of those.
Ocarina of Time, that's what I was talking. Yeah.
But
by the way, I'm leaning over this way because it looks like the way the layout looks like on the stream, I look like I'm whispering in your ear.
Yeah. Perfect. I love that. I mean, I think we get more price increases in the first half of next year, from all these, as this stuff trickles down. I think Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all raise their prices again.
Yeah, probably. It wouldn't surprise me. And it's becoming. I honestly kind of think that this is going to mean that the next generation of consoles is just going to be just gone. It's
you have to
not as in they'll never
right?
come out, but I think they're generally going to be either they're going to have to radically rethink what they are and what they're capable of, or we're not going to get them until 2029.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm afraid of. And we'll talk about I think this more in a minute when we talk about the Xbox stuff, because I have thoughts about everything that's been happening over at Microsoft and Xbox. But yeah, I mean, I think it's getting to the point now where I don't even know if we can reasonably sell video game consoles as a luxury item. It's so far beyond luxury at this point. It's like buying a $5,000 purse. It's like what's the point of spending all that money on something that you're not something so what's the point of spending that much on something so utilitarian? What could possibly drive the price up to that amount?
Yeah, there was word I didn't see what it was. I think there's a new version of the 3050, the RTX 3050 that has 4 gigabytes of video memory, which is everyone's like, hey, I thought we moved past this. Like everyone knows that's not nearly enough.
Not in this day and age.
No, not at all. This is I think when we're kind of looking around and trying to figure out what happens next here, other than price increases for the stuff that we already see on the store shelves, which does feel again inevitable after the ones that we're going through right in this moment. When we start talking about what does next gen look like, if I'm at one of these companies, I am trying to figure out a way to make the most sense possible. And I do think that means like if you're Sony, which maybe is the most interesting one because they're the ones that have the most momentum while also having to deal with like high-end fidelity, expensive hardware because they've never really stepped away from that. They always have been on the cutting edge, with the exception of like the PS4, which was very successful for them. It's kind of, maybe you should repeat that. The PS4 was a bunch of like crappy parts taken off the shelf, and then they're like, all right, PS5, we're back at it with an expensive SSD and all this stuff, and the PS5's way better.
Let's give you an Astrobot game just so we can show off all the internal hardware here.
Exactly. And the PS5 is way better, but it's like, okay, well, it's way better. It should be able to last longer than the PS4 did, and the PS4 lasted a very long time. So if I'm Sony in this situation, and I was already planning a handheld, maybe the PS6 is mostly just the handheld, because then you can sort of scale the power to sort of be more in line with the PS5 and kind of communicate to developers, to your teams, this is the amount of power we're going to have because we just in no way want to deprecate the PlayStation 5. We need to keep that audience going because they are going to stick with that console far longer than they've ever stuck with a PlayStation before, because they just simply will not have the money to upgrade to a PS6, what we're going to charge for a home PS6. And they seem to have that option.
And I would honestly call that a smart business move if I were them. If I were in charge of Sony, that's probably what I would be seriously considering right about now, because I'm kind of afraid the AI bubble is not going to burst as fast as we're all maybe thinking it. We all maybe thought it would, like this time last year even. I think it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing, and then it's going to be a lot longer than we think before it bursts. And if that's the case, then these prices are only going to keep going up.
Yeah.
NVIDIA has no reason to not raise the prices at this point.
Yes, right. I mean, the competition for their compute power from the AI bubble is something that they won't ignore. They couldn't ignore it, but they wouldn't ignore it either. They're happy to choose that instead. And that means giving some of the resources that you have to the video game industry is kind of a hassle at this point. So you've got to just charge them more to make it worth more of your time. It sucks. It's awful. And it's a bubble. So it's like, we're going to, like, when it bursts and it all goes sideways, it's not like suddenly we get all that compute back. It's like that stuff is just going to kind of like have to be transferred back to gaming. That's going to be a hassle as well. It'll take years for this stuff to stabilize once we get to that point.
And I'm happy that we've got things like the Steam Deck and, God, I hope the Steam Machine soon. Pardon me. Just because, I mean, the first people who were priced out of it were like the PC gamers who like building their own rigs. I can't afford to do that now.
Right. And like the Steam Machine, which I've been using recently, it's been great, but I continue to go like, this is so handy, so nice, and who do you recommend it to? How do you tell people that it's worth the price? It's just not. But okay, the other side of this is like, people point out, like, can a $1,000 PS6 handheld like compete in the market? That also feels dead on arrival. And I think I don't, maybe, but that's not really the point. The point is that they need to do everything they can to sort of flatten the curve of graphical fidelity increasing, and they need to like make it clear to their teams that you should still be making games for the PS5 first. And so for a long time now, I've been like, my idea here is, I think there is a PS6. I think there's this PS6 handheld, and then I think there is a PS6 Lite, which is just a reconfigured PlayStation 5 with some other small upgrades, so that could still be like the anchor console that holds the gaming production sort of down, so that no one feels like they have to have the biggest hardware or the biggest and best hardware to like get their game running. You need to make sure it's running on this stuff because we are going to be supporting the PS5, and you could put that version on the PS5 as well with some reductions here and there. Probably not many, because that maybe should just be your lead platform for the next 7 years. Like the console's already pretty old. Like it should have like a 15-year life.
God, I would hope so. But actually, I mean, again, we're going to talk about this more in a minute because I know we got an Xbox story coming up. But I think, do you think that if that was the way they went, I mean, traditional, like the major players are so hidebound to this, like very, I think, kind of archaic way of releasing consoles. It's like, okay, it's time for the PS5. Now it's time for the
Yeah.
PS6. It's like 5.5 maybe. Handheld 5.5 in between. Like,
I mean,
would you release the big, like the big PS6 first and then the handheld, or the handheld and then the big PS6? Like, hypothetically speaking.
yeah, I guess I don't know. I think they would probably try to bundle, like package as much together, like and present it as one line as possible, so that they can give people the option. But I think it'll be very clear, like what PlayStation prefers you get by like the pricing and all that stuff. So I think like they will emphasize, I think, the handheld. I think that is like the biggest differentiating factor, right? The PS6 was going to be a hard sell anyhow because games already look fantastic, and you don't have to, like, there's just not much holding them back anymore in terms of being able to like it. The things that are holding back games, I always say it's time and money now. It's no longer the silicon inside of these pieces of hardware, and it's okay. Well, at that point, that means you get to the situation where you're spending $250-300 million on games like they are. I don't think they want to keep pushing in that direction. So yeah, I think they focus on the handheld because the handheld can be this thing where it's like, here is a new way to play the games you already love and doesn't look amazing. And we kind of know that there's an untapped audience that is there, like the way that the PlayStation Portal has sold. Clearly that audience is there. So I think PlayStation will emphasize the handheld.
Yeah, I think Portal was kind of a like the first shot.
Yeah.
On that as well. I think because it did so well, I think that a handheld is more likely to be part of their lineup going forward.
Yep.
But
yeah, I think like they will take what they've done with the PS5 Pro and sort of like parlay that into a steady transition into this next generation, and kind of like, the PS5 Pro should give them another 7 or 8 years of support here. It's just like most people, when they buy one of these PlayStations, most people buy standard PlayStation 4, most people buy standard PlayStation 5, and then there's like a much smaller audience that has the Pro. But that just means that they can maybe lower the price of the Pro, or to make it look a lower price by making the prices for PS6 stuff that much more. And so if you're looking for the affordable option, eventually that it might just be the PS5 Pro, which I think will get rebranded into a PS6 Lite in many ways.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yes. All right, let's see here. Yeah, we got that. Let's talk about Xbox audiences grew. Its audience grew, but its business did not. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma says it expects to return to growth by this time next year, and it's nice to want things. Microsoft posted its financial reports for the last quarter on Wednesday, stating that while the company as a whole was seeing continued growth, with revenue and operating income both up 18%, the Xbox division was instead seeing reduced revenues, according to its Q4 fiscal year 2026 results, which cover the period from April 1st to June 30th, 2026. Xbox content and services revenue declined 10% compared to the same Q4 results from last year. Xbox hardware revenue also declined, according to Microsoft, with a 13% drop compared to Q4 fiscal year 2025. This has been a recurring situation for Xbox throughout the past financial year. Microsoft's Q3 earnings report showed that Xbox content and services revenue was down 5%, and that hardware revenue was down 33%. And Q2 earnings results also showed year-on-year decline of basically everything else. They've kind of have been going down since like Q1 of 3 years ago. It's been consistently down, 10 to 30% every quarter. During Microsoft's presentation, though, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella referred to Xbox's decline, stating that the company was in the process of undertaking the reset mentioned by Sharma in the past. When it comes to Xbox, we are making the necessary decisions required across our content portfolio, platform, and operations to reset the business for long-term growth. We have the best IP in the industry and talented studios around the world, and believe we can bring these strengths together and expect to return the business to growth in fiscal 2027. They don't really say how they get to that point. I mean, I think they're implying that will grow because we'll have fewer people to pay because we're cutting a bunch of jobs and we'll keep making
Yeah.
the same amount of money, which is like, will you? Because it looks like you're going to make less money based on the trend you're
Yeah.
on and the cost of the console and all this other stuff.
That's
What is the plan here?
Jeff, that's what I'm kind of wondering. It's like, why? I remember when they were doing the whole like talking about the reset, and Asha Sharma said something like, "Don't worry, we're still invested in Helix, our next gen console." And I'm like,
You
pardon
are?
my language, but I'm like, who gives a fuck about Helix?
Yeah.
3,000 people are losing their jobs,
Yep.
and why are you investing in? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is probably a studio that would probably benefit even more from going for the whole like, well, we're going to invest more in the series lineup, and in the meantime, here's a cool Xbox branded handheld that costs much less to make.
Right. If they could keep working on, it seemed like they were working on that side of things. They had the Asus Roger Ally that they kind of did in partnership, but then there was always the word that they were working on their own to sort of go in conjunction with that, and then that got shelved or something. So,
Yeah.
what is the plan over there? I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what is going to happen. I understand some of the things I understand, like studios going independent or getting bought out. That's a best case scenario in my mind. I mean, it sucks that Double Fine still had to lay people off. I mean, I wish nobody had to get laid off,
Right.
but 23 people getting laid off because the studio went independent versus
Yeah.
3,000 people getting laid
I mean,
off because Xbox is resetting.
yeah, I mean, and it's like, those jobs, all those jobs were lost once when Xbox decided to stop paying them. The fact
Yeah.
that they were saved at all by the studio, it's like, it is flipped. It's like Double Fine saved whatever jobs
The
they
trolley
could.
problem.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes. So it's frustrating. This 200 million. Okay, I just don't get why they gained 200 million new users. I don't know what that is from. I've tried to figure out like if they've said where these people are, where they're coming from. Are they playing
I'd have to look at
Minecraft?
the report again. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's my first thought is they're talking about people who like maybe had like a free sign up to Xbox Game Pass. It's like, hey, have a free month of Xbox Game Pass on
It's
us, and they're
probably
like,
like
okay,
King,
cool, and then
right?
just never, yeah.
Yeah.
King and Mojang definitely the ones that Asha Sharma is now personally overseeing because those are the those are the favorite children.
Yep.
Understandably so. Those are very successful children.
Of course.
So
Uh,
yeah, so I understand that, but I have no idea what she means by that.
Yeah, I think Chad is speculating that it's all just Twitter engagement is what they're like. Like, yeah, it's just like we're putting a post out on Twitter and 200 million new users of Xbox Twitter posts. Yeah,
No,
this is baffling to me.
I do think it was probably like a lot of the promotion for Xbox Game Pass probably attracted a lot of curious people, but I don't think they stuck around.
Yeah, yes,
And
and it's not 200 million for just Xbox stuff. Like, yeah,
no, I really don't think so.
yeah. So, okay, yep, just saying things, man. Because Copilot told you so, right? That's almost certainly what happened. You're like always, just pick a number. Here's some data I found that shows there's 200 million people that looked at whatever, and then she just wrote that down and said it to Satya. No, that was Sharma that said that. Okay, let's keep going here. EA CEO, which is a great way to start any sentence, got a huge pay increase while company laid off developers. This is from Blair Marnell at GameSpot. And if that sounds rough, don't worry. The specifics are worse. When Saudi Arabia's leveraged buyout of Electronic Arts is finalized, another great way to start a sentence, the newly private company won't have to release any financial documents to the public. In the meantime, EA's latest financial disclosure has revealed that CEO Andrew Wilson received a massive, this story actually misspells this or misstates this, a massive 30 million increase in his compensation this year. It's actually, he got an increase of 8 million. He was at 30 million. It went up to 38 million. I double checked on this. And he wasn't the only EA executive to reap the rewards. Per EA's report filed with the Security and Exchange Commission, Wilson's compensation package in the previous year rose by 8 million. That total includes bonus payments and stock options. The report also notes that Wilson's 38 million payout has a 305-to-1 ratio to the average pay of an employee at EA. God damn it. Another eye-opening fact uncovered the report that the report notes that Wilson only flies on private planes rather than commercial airliners, including for personal use, and EA has to pay for that. There's a list here
Gross.
of other executives that have their compensation. President of EA Entertainment, Laura Miele, who makes 13.7 million. Blah blah blah. Point is, a lot of these people are getting big bonuses or big increases to their pay. And why? Why are they getting increases to their pay? Rachel Kaser, they're getting it because a lot of their bonuses were tied to the performance of Battlefield, and that game had to meet certain measurements. And if it did, these people would make more money. And then what happened to many people who worked on Battlefield at the exact same time this was happening? They got laid off. They got
are
their jobs
gone.
cut. What? Like you don't have to make it look like a complete clown show. You don't have to make it look as terrible as possible. This is the thing that makes people hate EA in this industry.
To be rich enough to not care about optics.
Right, exactly, yes. And to be running into the arms of your private owner in Saudi Arabia because, yeah, you're not going to have to report this stuff anymore. And yes, the optics really won't matter because now it's Saudi Arabia's problem. They're worried about their optics more than you are worried about yours, and you're going to get your big payday. Probably going to vest and get out of there in a couple of years.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if EA CEO Andrew Wilson steps down is a story that we hear sometime in the next 2 years.
Without a doubt. Like, yes,
Yeah.
as soon as he can. Like the acquisition will almost certainly have some sort of language in there about a transition period, about vesting those options. And then once that's up, it will be instantaneous. Like a lot of you'll see a wave of these people leaving because why would they stay?
And the whole the plane thing, by the way, I'm like, first of all, I don't understand like where is he going that he needs a private jet to fly that much?
Yep.
And also, and why is EA paying for it? I mean, you pay somebody a salary like that, he can get his own goddamn plane.
He's like Australian, right? So he's probably flying back home, like visits family or whatever. Maybe not. I don't know.
Listen, I would also fly to all of the world's beautiful vacation spots as often as I could if I was paid that amount of money.
EA was paying for it, yeah.
But I would not do so at the expense of everyone else's jobs.
Yeah,
and I know it's easy for me to say that, because I'm a brokey over here, but I'm not. It's easy for me to say that because I'm not in that position. But I mean, it's also I can also say that this is morally repugnant to me.
Yeah, exactly. This as Vertex Waldo points out, this is a common practice for CEOs. It's part of their compensation package often. It's just very occasionally we get it illustrated in such a terrible way here where it's like, man, this is happening simultaneously with you getting paid more and you cutting jobs. And the reason you got paid more is the people whose jobs you cut, they did a really good job. Like, that's just what happened here. That's literally what happened. Holy shit, that sucks. Oh, man.
Could we also not, like, use that? Could that be, like, for everyone at EA? That would make me feel a little bit better about it. Like, you got an
you get a day with it. Everyone gets one day with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Andrew's not using this plane for a day. It's like, does somebody have to go visit their family over in Taiwan or something? Somebody jump in the plane. Let's go.
Capcom says the likelihood of a Pragmata sequel is high. This is from Liam Doolin at Nintendo Life. It's still early days for Capcom's new IP Pragmata, but it seems the future is bright after the title sold over 2.5 million units since launching in April. The team has already touched on the idea of a sequel, and now an update has been shared alongside the company's latest financial results, as reported by Bloomberg. Capcom's corporate officer Yoshikazu Shimochi, there we go, confirms the likelihood of a sequel is high. And I think everyone was kind of feeling that way because the game just sort of popped off immediately and everyone got it. It reviewed well and has been selling well.
Yeah, it's a solid game. So I would finally some good news in this report. I would not be mad if Pragmata turned into a recurring IP. I think there's a possibility it could be milked a little bit,
Sure.
more than necessary. But now, this is an optimistic. This is a good report.
Yes, and I think we can trust Capcom right now. They seem to have a good handle on how to use their IP to best effect. All right, let's hit these last few stories here pretty quickly. Nexus Mods wants mod installation to become Spotify easy. If people have not used Nexus Mods, if you've seen people install 1 million mods for Skyrim or something like that, you're like, some of these aren't on the Bethesda mod store thing. It's like, yeah, they're getting them all from Nexus Mods. It's this huge repository for creators to upload their mods or for people to download them. And it already has this, like, I think it's called Vortex. The Vortex mod manager, which
Yeah,
does
I've used
sort
that
of,
before.
yes, and that helps like deal with a lot of times, as they point out here, mods have dependencies and there's a setup validation, conflict management, change deployment, version maintenance, and Vortex does some of that. I think they're trying to get it to a point where it's like, yeah, but you still have to like see the back end a little bit and see like the file names or whatever, and that might scare some people. And they're trying to make it like, hey, just a one button press. Now there is services
I
that
have
do that, like Steam Mods
Yeah.
does that, but yeah, Steam can't have all of the copyrighted stuff that Nexus Mods can.
Yeah, I feel like such a old like such an old fogey right now because I'm kind of in like, it's kind of like a MySpace versus Facebook kind of thing for me because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, back in my day
Yep.
we installed all, and then if we had conflict management we just deleted mods until we figured out what the problem was.
Exactly. Yeah. Listen,
We
that
knew how
doesn't
to
make
go
you an
into our
old.
gameplay files and we knew how to edit the mods so that they, we knew how to, find the right file that was corrupting our save, and we knew how
Right.
to we
You were
we
playing
we had to
video
do it
games.
all. Yeah, we had to do it all by ourselves. Like I remembered my first 60 Skyrim mods and my first 100 Dragon Age mods. Dragon Age was what started me on modding. But yeah, I remember like, just loading up Skyrim with all of my mods for the first time and just having it be like moving at the speed of glaciers.
Yep. Yeah. I don't think that makes you an old fogey. Mike Minotti is the mod old fogey who's just like, that's not what the game company wants me to do. I don't want to. I don't do something that the corporation says is not okay. So you're in the clear here. All right, last couple.
Mike,
Croc.
you've been called out.
Oh well, every time. Croc 2 Kingdom of the Gobbos remaster announced from this is from Sal Romano Ikamatsu. Basically, just they're doing what they did for Croc 1 for Croc 2. They will have the Croc 2pedia, which features original design documentation, marketing and promotional material, animation tests, galleries of cut models, levels, and objects, and interviews with original developers and the remaster team. I'm into it. I think Croc 1 is like a weird time capsule game that didn't hit with me at the time, and then when going back to it, it's like, oh, this is weird. But they kind of add the direct controls to it, so it's interesting. This is kind of what they would have done if they knew at the time. So I'll check it out. And then Thimbleweed Park 2 has been announced. Let's see here. Ron Gilbert is back. Gary Winnick is back, and they're targeting 2028 for this point-and-click sequel. So very cool. All right.
Sounds awesome to me. Both of those sound great to me.
Exactly. The couple updates today: Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Nintendo Switch 2 edition is fully out. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition for the first game is going to get its standalone physical release today. For tomorrow, is there anything? Not much. Hoyo versus Genshin Impact version 7.0 Everwinter Without Mercy special program airs from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. So all you Hoyoverse maniacs out there, get into it. All right, that does it for the headlines. Let's start wrapping up the show. We have a poll question from yesterday. Let's go ahead and get the freshest results from here. Are you playing, Splatoon Raiders? Booyah, which is yes or no, and I am playing it. 25% of people, 26% of respondents said yes, they are playing this game. 74% said no. It's a pretty decent result for this $50 sort of spin-off of Splatoon. And again, we know how well it's doing in Japan, right? Is this one you've checked out? I think you said you might have played it. I can't remember.
I played was it a demo that I played?
Okay. Yes,
yeah.
probably.
Yeah, there was a demo, wasn't there? I'm not tripping, right?
I think there like there might have been. I'm not sure. Yeah. You might have played it at a preview event or something like that.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Splatoon Raiders is one that I'm getting more into.
There was a demo. I just looked it up and I'm like, yep, it was definitely the demo.
Excellent. Okay, very cool. Yep, Splatoon Raiders is one I'm going to keep playing for sure. We have a new poll question, though. We'll get to it here in a second. Before we do that, Rachel, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff?
You can find my written work at gamesbeat.com. and where I am currently, I've just put out my latest edition of Boss Mode, which is my series of interviews with female leaders in the gaming, technology, and entertainment industries. I just did an interview with Amanda Cruz from Bloomhouse Games, and before that, I did one with Felicia Day, who, if you don't know, you're too young to be watching this. And you can also find me on TikTok, where I make funny videos about games. I just did one about how The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time remake might be the only game that could reasonably compete with Grand Theft Auto 6, and I got some very interesting feedback on that one.
I bet.
And I also have an assignment for Giant Bomb, if you don't mind. I'm
Please.
just going to put this out there. You can DM me on, pretty much any social media platform. It's just my name, Rachel Kaser, and you can also find me on like TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, if you still use Twitter. But I am trying to upgrade my whole setup here because my camera, microphone, headset, all of that, this is all pre-pandemic stuff. Like, I have not, like, most of my disposable income has gone into other areas and aspects of my life, and also just, necessities, staying alive, putting food on the table. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
have enough now that I can actually start to, like, improve. Like, I'm still using the same Logitech webcam that I've had since like 2017. So I think 10th anniversary coming up, it's time to upgrade. So if anybody has any ideas on good, semi-reasonably affordable cameras, microphones, and all that, Jeff, this question for you as well, and
Yeah,
everybody.
I'll send you over some
Giant,
recs.
yeah, GB crew as well. Yeah, just drop me a message anywhere you can find me online, and I'm open to all recommendations. So that's your
Excellent.
homework, Giant Bomb.
Yeah, help her out, please, everybody. Like, give some recommendations. Fantastic. All right, well, let's see here. A new poll question: have you ever used Nexus Mods? Yes or no? We'll get the results. Talk about it on the show tomorrow. Speaking of Giant Bomb, tomorrow's show will have the Bomb 12. So go ahead and vote for the Bomb 12. We'll get the full results there. See what games everyone's been playing. Later today, and by later today, I mean very quickly, right, Jan? We're going to be doing Voicemail Dump Truck with guest star Mary Kish.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jan. We are going to...
Was that noise English, Jan?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I understood that.
There's an episode of C-Lab 2021 where the character's like face gets eaten by a monster and they have a prolonged conversation with them. That's what he sounded like, the guy that had no face. So yeah, tune in for that, and we're gonna have UPF tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of fun here on Giant Bomb, and then we're recording some extra stuff that will pop off here and there. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Rachel, for hanging out with me today and talking about video games. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, Jeff. Thank you for helping. Thank you for helping me like socialize when I'm feeling like crap.
Yeah, no, you crushed it. Yeah, I'm glad that you're feeling better. We hope you get back to 100% here real soon. And once again, thank you to everybody for watching and listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Bye.